Hey guys, so in this video I do a water change, add some little hermit crabs and some snails for a cleanup crew, and I basically just replace the filter media with Chemipure in my tank. So thanks for watching, and if you don't know this is actually the 1 year anniversary of this tank. This tank turned 1 year old on April 11th. I know I'm a little late, it's April 17th right now, but it's 1 year old and it's doing really great for its age. I'm really impressed with this tank. I love the Nuvo systems. Definitely check out Nuvo if you haven't. I know quite a few, like 4 or 5 of my subscribers have already invested in a Nuvo tank just because they saw mine and they liked it. And I would recommend this tank for any beginner, 10 out of 10. It's an amazing tank. So thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the video. Hey everybody. So this is the current state of the tank. Basically the inhabitants are just the clownfish, this little tiny snail. There is also a trocus snail in there. I don't know where he's at actually, but he's in there somewhere. And then there's the rock anemone, the corals that you see, like the xenia, the leather corals and such. The rock anemone really not doing too well. He's really bleached out. I'll get a close-up of him in a couple minutes probably. Basically what we're going to do though is I took my water to the fish store. And the fish store basically said, okay, you got like 40 parts per million of nitrates. Your phosphates are probably high if you've got hair algae, which I do. And basically there was a little bit of, like, the water just wasn't as clean as it could be really. It was just, everything was a little off. Everything was, 10, 20 off. They didn't test my ammonia or anything really, but I'm sure it's probably not the best. So I did do a water change about 3 weeks ago. Maybe it was 4 weeks ago, I don't know. But I gotta do another one. And basically I picked up some things along the way to help me with the fish tank. One thing I did pick up is Chemipure Blue. This stuff is basically just your activated carbon, PhosGuard, all that stuff in one little jar. You might be able to read some of that there. Basically, to use this, you just kind of drop it in. It's just a bag full of stuff. And basically you change it about every 4 months is what it actually says on the container. You might be able to read it, I'm not sure. But it says every 4 months you need to replace it. So that's what I'm going to try and do, is keep this in there for about 4 months and see how it goes. And then hopefully that'll help the tank out. What I also got to help the tank out was a scarlet reef crab, 5 blue leg hermit crabs, and 2 Mexican turbo snails. So hopefully they'll help eat the algae and keep that under control. So now I'm just going to do a quick little water change. I'm going to mix up the salt water and I'm going to put in the hermit crabs, and I'll get some close-ups of them. That way you guys can see them, and I'll get some close-ups of the corals. As you guys can see, here's the green leather coral. There is the rock anemone in the background, not doing too well. He's pretty translucent, so hopefully he'll come back. I've been trying to feed him. He hasn't really been too receptive to feeding. And hopefully he comes back. Who knows? The leather coral, though, is doing excellent. That thing is getting huge. In comparison, this is a credit card. So as you can see, well, this is the same size as a credit card. It's not a real credit card, but as you can see, he's about the same size as my my little boater's card here. So that's pretty awesome. And here's how the xenia is doing. It's got the green leather coral up there with it as well. You can see the hair algae on the bottom right there. Definitely taken over a little bit. The xenia is doing great though. It is open. It is not really pulsing, but it is just happy as can be. And it's getting plenty of flow, so that's really helping it out quite a bit. Here's how the bubble coral's doing. It's doing pretty good. It's been, pretty decent. Just kind of open, feeder tentacles out a little bit. It's not super open, but it has been doing pretty well. So it hasn't died off or shrunk down or anything, but it's just been kind of average. So there's nothing really to update on that. And then this is the other xenia I have in the tank. This is just a smaller pom-pom xenia. That's been doing good. It's off and on. It's getting a decent amount of flow where it's at right now. So hopefully it starts taking off like the xenia up top. I just think it wants more light. I think that's its only issue. So hopefully it'll start taking off. I think I'm going to increase the kessel just a little bit just to kind of help it out, and then we'll see how it does. So that's basically all the corals though. So everybody's doing pretty decent. That there is all the nasty water that just came out of the tank, guys. It's got quite a bit of hair algae in it. Tried to pick off as much as I could, so hopefully that'll help. Okay everybody, now it's time to put the water back in the tank. Just mixed up some fresh salt water. I noticed that when I was taking the water out, it was actually a little bit higher salinity than I expected, which is a little odd. Normally I'm pretty good about that, so that caught me off guard a little bit. So I had to lower it just a hair, and now I've got it right around 1.024. Again, it was like 1.027 when I was taking it out. So just a little high. I actually have to take out this media basket here too. I totally forgot about that because I have to put the Chemipure blue in there. Okay, now ready to start the tank back up. Probably need just a little more water in there. I think I undershot it by about probably 20 ounces, 10 ounces, somewhere in there. Definitely spilt a little bit though. Okay, so now that we've done the water change, tank is a little murky. Looks like I could add just a little bit of water in there just to get up the levels. It's just a little high on water. Check the salinity real quick. And it looks like it's right around 1.025. Get a little bit of fresh water. It's a good thing I undershot it a little bit and need a couple extra ounces in there. So for all you guys that want to know, I'm using distilled water. And the reason I'm using distilled water is because, yes, I have an RO system. The problem is I don't have a phosphate filter on it. So I can't pull the phosphates out of my RO water. The bad thing about that is, you know, RO water full of phosphates is just as bad as your tap water, really. So what I'm using right now is just distilled because, you know, it's just easier to get distilled water where I live. I know distilled's not the best, but so far it's been sufficing. Distilled has been what I've been using on this tank ever since I set it up. So I actually set the entire tank up with distilled water. So I'm going to keep with that. I know a lot of people in the comments are probably going to go crazy about that, but you know, if you can, use RO water. If you can't, use distilled water. But I mean, honestly, the best you can do is RO DI water. Use that if you can. Okay, everybody. So what I have been using is this sea gel by Chem, and the sea gel is not bad. It's basically just Phosgard and little carbon balls mixed in with it, which isn't bad. Sea gel is, you know, I've been using it for probably a month or two now, and I've been really happy with it. It's a good all-around media. It's not the best, it's not the worst. So if you got a small reef tank and you want something cheap to use, try out some sea gel. Unfortunately, even with me using sea gel, I still have green hair algae. So basically what I'm going to do is take my media basket here. So this is my Nuvo media basket. As you can see, it's just a Nuvo caddy. It's just a acrylic caddy that you can buy from Nuvo. I think it retails for $19.99 where I live. It's an excellent filter unit. So basically what I do is these two bottom parts are Chem matrix, both of them. And basically Chem matrix is like pumice stone or pumice stone, however you pronounce that, inside these two little boxes. And then on top here I use a layer of filter floss, the sea gel, and then another filter floss layer. The sea gel though I'm going to be taking out for the Chemipure blue. So hopefully I can fit the whole thing inside here. I'm pretty confident I can though. The only bad thing about sea gel is it's pretty messy because it's not actually a gel, it's just, the sea gel is just a bunch of little balls that, you know, get into your filter, and they're so hard to get out because they all stick to the filter. Okay, so we've got all the sea gel out. You can see it's a little discolored. It's kind of gross looking. And now we're going to take out the Chemipure blue. So let's see what we got inside here. Well, it was sealed until I ripped it open like that. But anyways, as you can see, the Chemipure blue is basically the sea gel kind of stuff. It's actually wet, which is a little weird. Did not anticipate it being wet. So what I'm going to do is mix it up here a little bit. It looks like they just kind of poured in a bunch of the white stuff and a bunch of the charcoal stuff. It's all very fine resins. Now, you want to be careful when you mix it up not to like grind it together too much. If you do that, you'll get a lot of blackish looking stuff in your tank because you'll grind up the carbon. So make sure whenever you're using a carbon bag like this, or anything with carbon, you want to rinse it first. So what I'm going to do is just take some distilled water, pour it over it, and try and get some of that stuff out of there, some of the black charcoal dust out of there. There's not a whole lot usually. I know Chemipure Elite had a lot. The blue doesn't seem to have that much though. The water is pretty clear in there actually for the most part. Basically what you want to do too is once you get it inside, if you're using a media basket like I am, you kind of want to massage it down in there. And then just try and get it to where it's covering as much of the areas as possible. Because essentially what you don't want is you want the water to go through it. You don't want it to go around it. So just try and make sure it's a pretty good fit in there. Just barely fits in my media basket, that's for sure. I'm going to trim the bag here a little bit. It's got quite a bit of excess stuff on it. Okay, so the bag is definitely trimmed. What I'm going to do now is take a little square of filter floss to just kind of place on top of there to catch any big pieces of detritus that might clog up the Chemipure blue. And essentially what this does is just going to make the water more uniform when it hits the Chemipure blue. And you want to replace this filter floss probably once or twice a week depending on your tank's bioload. As you guys can see now, we got the filter floss in our media basket, the Chemipure blue, and the Seachem Matrix rocks. So now we're going to put that back in the tank, and hopefully the results will be significantly noticeable. So I just put the media basket back in. The tank is actually not too cloudy at all, which is really awesome. That Chemipure blue really didn't have any carbon dust in it, which was really awesome, even after we mixed it up. So now basically the water seems to be a little cold still, but it seems like everybody's been sitting in here for a little while. So now we're going to just acclimate everybody. So basically all I'm going to do is cut these guys loose and put them in there. Make sure when you do this though, make sure you do not put the water from the actual fish store in your tank. That is no bueno. You never know what's in your local fish store. My local fish store luckily treats all their fish. They treat all their corals, everything, which is awesome. I know not all fish stores do that though, so just remember that not all fish stores are created equal. Some fish stores will not take any precautions. They'll just kind of sell you whatever. So just make sure that you don't put their water in there. I'm trying to dump all these hermit crabs and stuff right on the hair algae where it is. I'm going to let the scarlet reef hermit crab acclimate just probably another couple minutes. He was a little bit more expensive. So there are the turbo snails on top. Hermit crabs are in there too, the little tiny guys. You might be able to see them. Well, you might be able to see the hermit crabs there, I'm not sure, but hopefully they'll eat the hair algae. You can see the hair algae isn't really a big issue. As you can see, there's not a ton of hair algae there. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's not as bad now that I've plucked most of it out. So hopefully they'll take care of that. Anyways, I just want to say thanks for watching, guys. This was shot with my DSLR, so hopefully the video wasn't too bad. Hopefully it was pretty stable, and hopefully all the shots are in frame. Hopefully the quality's a little better. Let me know if you like this, or if you like my iPhone, which is what I filmed with before. And I filmed a little bit as a Canon S120 before as a handheld point and shoot. Let me know which style you like better. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'm pretty good about getting back to comments, but if I don't get back to it, I will eventually. So, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for all your likes, all your subscriptions. Please like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and enjoy your weekend.